First, quick impressions of a game. When I initially tried to play last night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, it was saying that I was too early. Then I finally got in about 20 minutes later, kicked me out 5 minutes later, but then I was able to get back in and resume literally in the same spot where I was standing. For the most part, you are able to quick save or save the game whenever you want. You don't have to go to some kind of terminal or anything like that, so I really do appreciate that. The game does run at 30 FPS, though, as I've mentioned in another video before, there are two different kinds of 30 FPS. There's the kind that feels very sluggish, and when you move, it feels kind of wow. You know, like where it feels kind of rubber bandy, like it just feels sluggish because it's 30 FPS. But there is another kind of game that is 30 FPS, but that actually feels decent. One of the best examples I use is when I choose to play in fidelity mode on my Xbox Series X, Forza Horizon 5 at 30 FPS. A racing game at high speeds that actually feels pretty decent compared to the likes of, let's say, Watch Dogs Legion, which on 30 FPS feels absolutely atrocious and you move around a lot slower in that. So use those as sort of like an example. The movement I didn't enjoy. It felt very off. Horizontally, this was much faster than the vertical, up and down. And that's because generally you'll do a lot more of this than you will this. So the up and down is usually a bit slower. But every single game that I've ever played that I can recall, when you go to the controls, if both your vertical and horizontal are set to the same number, they will move at the same speed. But this is not the case for this game, at least not for me. So I had to increase, if you will, the verticality to 20, leaving the horizontal look at 1 in order to get what feels balanced to me. Now, the controller look sensitivity, I'm not too sure what that does. I mean, it seems pretty obvious. It tells you controls the sensitivity of the looking stick. But then what about the general sensitivity of the vertical looking? So it's almost like this is like a master sensitivity. As you can tell, they're incredibly low. You can't go any lower than 1%. And for me, it feels good. It may not feel good for you, but it feels good for me. So naturally, go ahead and play around with that. I like that you can just get like a bunch of loot a la Fallout 4 kind of thing. The skills seem really neat too. You've got 5 different trees, and you can actually max all of them out as there is no level cap. There's a soft level cap, which I talked about quickly in a video of mine. The combat in space felt pretty good. Same thing with the combat just in this game. If you hold down the left bumper button, you can turn on and off your flashlight. If you tap that same button without holding it down, now you're in scan mode, and you'll be able to see things highlighted in blue of things that you're able to interact with, whether they are good or bad, things that you could probably loot. Okay? Another thing that happens momentarily, not for a long time, but for a short time, is when you tap the button initially to get this view, you'll sometimes get, except for now because I'm recording, it'll show you arrows on the ground as to where to go for your next objective, and then it'll disappear momentarily after. So you get to see a little bit of combat. See, they're moving around, the lighting and everything. It's just, this game just looks so good. There should definitely be a performance mode, though. It's all about options. I don't give a rat's ass about 4K. I'm 1080p. I'm all about that high refresh rate, generally speaking. The high draw distances and all that kind of stuff. See, there's a pirate up there. And it is on very easy. Which brings me to my next point. I'm sorry. I have to do this because to me, I think it's important to share this with you in case you don't have the game, you've been on the fence. So you have very easy, normal, hard, very hard. And yes, I don't care what you think. I'm doing this for the story for now. But look what it does. All difficulty levels affect not only damage, but a chance to encounter legendary, enemies. So again, seems to be very reminiscent, if you will, to Fallout. I don't believe Skyrim does that. Even some of the music in this game feels Fallout-ish, even though it's a unique soundtrack.
Something's out there.
Uh-oh, they just know. See again? You can scan, but you can't shoot in that mode. Oh, shit! Take care of him. Oh, wow. Well, it's nice that you have a friend watching out for you. You can go up to people, loot them. I don't know why I find that exciting, but I do. I really appreciate that little UI window popping up. Keeps you in the game without going to a separate screen, if you know what I mean by that.
In combat, there is a high likelihood of human death.
I love your sense of humor. I don't know if we can play with mouse keyboard on the Xbox Series X. I am not too sure. But that would be cool. If I had to complain, it would be I wish there were dead zone settings. Again, the controls do feel good. To me, they feel... It feels like Fallout a little bit. You know, like in terms of how responsive it is. I do find a game like Minecraft to be slightly smoother. And I think it's because the dead zone or the sensitivity, there's even like settings like in a game like Cyberpunk of all things where you even have like acceleration, you've got dead zone and sensitivity. I just wish we had a little wee bit more finesse in the controls. But it's not terrible.
It's loose. The terramorph is loose. We can't stop it. When we tried to sync with the neural control interface, it just completely flipped out. Broke through its containment chamber like it was made out of paint.
Yeah, so you can read this on your own. There's like a bunch of like mini, little arc stories or whatever they're called. Again, are we getting the arrows? No. And that could simply be because we're behind some doors. I'm not too sure, to be honest.
I'm detecting a safe nearby. We could make use of whatever is inside, provided you had some digipicks.
Oh, what the hell was that? There. Right stick and just bonk it. Now, we could probably pull the gun out. Oh, I thought we would have been able to. To scan it and stuff like that, but I guess not. But generally, you want to do that to survey and stuff. It's just because that was a new creature. I thought maybe we could scan it. Fill in all open slots in every layer to open the lock. Oh, boy. Select a key and rotate it until it lines up with the gaps in the security layer. Slot the key. Yeah. Each key can only be used once. To be honest, I don't think I want to do this while I'm recording in case I completely screw it up. This was just meant to be sort of a very quick, under 10-minute video. Just my quick first impressions. I am very much enjoying the game so far. It does feel good for what it is. I mean, the whole 30 FPS thing. Naturally, 60 would probably help with that whole thing of the controls not being quite 100%, but it is really damn good. It's very, very playable. I can probably maybe play around with some more settings. Probably not, actually, because I already have everything at the lowest. Yeah, so like a dead zone or an acceleration, or turning off the acceleration would have been something I would have liked. But yeah, It is pretty darn good. Alright, as always, if you liked the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm. If you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. As always, I'll bend it in half, twist it, break it off in your ass. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, I mean, naturally, that would be great. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care, and maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.